फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल बॉटनी विद रोहित जिरोबे। हमारे पिछले वीडियो में हमने देखा था इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ अलगे एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ अलगे एंड बेसिस ऑफ देयर हैबिटेट। सो आज के इस वीडियो में हम बात करेंगे क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ अलगे एंड नेक्स्ट वीडियो में हम क्या करेंगे, इकोनॉमिक इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ अलगे देखेंगे। तो सारे अलगे हो गए, फंगे हो गए, ब्रायोफाइट्स, जिम्नोस्पर्म, इनके सारे हम ऐसे ही सीरीज स्टार्ट करेंगे। दैट इज फर्स्ट हम इंट्रोडक्शन देखेंगे, फिर उनके जो भी क्लासिफिकेशन रहते हैं, क्लासिफिकेशन एंड इकोनॉमिक इंपॉर्टेंस, ये सब करते करेंगे। उसके बाद पर्टिकुलरली एक एक एग्जाम्पल के ऊपर नए वीडियोस आएंगे। तो आज का वीडियो हम स्टार्ट करेंगे, दैट इज क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ अलगे। So whenever we talk about classification of algae, हम world widely used classification is that is given by Sir या फिर Fritsch। So आज के इस वीडियो में हम भी उनका ही क्लासिफिकेशन देखेंगे। उन्होंने क्या किया था, एक बुक दैट इज एंटाइटल्ड स्ट्रक्चर एंड रिप्रोडक्शन ऑफ अलगे नामक बुक में उन्होंने क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ अलगे दिया है। दैट इज दे हैव क्लासिफाइड अलगे इनटू 11 क्लासेस on the basis of thallus organization, that is thallus structure, mode of reproduction and nature of pigmentation and variation in life cycles and also reserve food materials. So on the basis of thallus structure, that thallus means the algae के अंदर क्या रहते हैं, they lack true roots, leaves and that is stem वगैरह, तो उनका क्या रहता है, thallus structure रहता है। तो on the basis of their thallus structure and mode of pigmentation यानी उनके अंदर क्लोरोफिल ए है, तो डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ अलगे प्रोसेस, डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ क्लोरोफिल, जैसे ए हो गया, सी हो गया एंड कैरोटेनॉइड्स हो गए, ज़ैंथोफिल्स हो गए, ये सब क्या नेचर ऑफ पिगमेंटेशन। सो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ नेचर ऑफ पिगमेंटेशन भी उन्होंने क्या किया, क्लासिफाई किया गया है अलगे का। एंड मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन मींस मोड ऑफ उनकी डिफरेंट अलगे है प्रोसेस, डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन, दैट इज दैट मे बी असेक्सुअल, दैट इज आइसोगैमस और anisogamous or oogamous. So on the basis of mode of reproduction में उन्होंने क्या किया है, अलगे को क्लासिफाई किया है। एंड अगर मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन चेंज हो जाता है तो वेरिएशन इन लाइफ साइकिल में देखा जाता है। एंड नेक्स्ट दैट इज रिजर्व फूड मटेरियल। सो डिफरेंट अलगे हैव डिफरेंट रिजर्व फूड मटेरियल, दैट मे बी स्टार्च, ऑयल, एनीथिंग दैट मे बी। सो उन्होंने क्या किया है, दैट इज द सर या फिर फ्रिट्ज ने क्या किया है, दे डिवाइडेड अलगे इनटू 11 क्लासेस ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ थैलस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन, वेरिएशन इन लाइफ साइकिल एंड नेचर ऑफ पिगमेंटेशन एंड रिजर्व फूड मटेरियल्स। तो उन्होंने क्या, दैट इज दे हैव क्लासिफाइड 11 क्लासेस। जो 11 क्लासेस ये रहे, 11 क्लासेस आर, फर्स्ट क्लास इज क्लोरोफाइसी इज आल्सो कॉमनली कॉल्ड एज ग्रीन अलगे, ये तो कॉमन है। एंड सेकंड क्लास इज ज़ैंथोफाइसी इज आल्सो कॉमनली कॉल्ड एज येलो ग्रीन अलगे, हो गया। एंड थर्ड क्लास इज क्राइसोफाइसी, दैट इज आल्सो कॉमनली कॉल्ड एज गोल्डन ब्राउन अलगे। And fourth class is Basidiophyceae, that is also commonly called as diatoms. And fifth class is Cryptophyceae means it is commonly also called as cryptomonads. And sixth class is Dinophyceae, it is also commonly called as dinoflagellates. And seventh class is Chloromonodiaceae. So Chloromonodiaceae, it is also commonly called as bright green algae, and it is also commonly called as olive green algae also. And eighth class is Eugleniaceae, it is also commonly called as euglenoids or unicellular. And the ninth class is Phaeophyceae, that is also commonly called as brown algae. And 10th class is Rhodophyceae, it is also commonly called as red algae. And 11th class is Myxophyceae, it is also Myxophyceae, or it is also called as Cyanophyceae, it is called as blue green algae or cyanobacteria. So ये रहे 11 classes that is classified on the basis of Jeffrey Fritsch। तो इन सारे क्लासेस को ब्रीफ में पढ़ेंगे। तो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं वन बाय वन, सारे 11 क्लासेस के अंदर क्या क्या मौजूद है वो सब ब्रीफ में पढ़ेंगे। चलिए, as we are talking about classification of algae, we have seen that algae has been classified on the basis of mode of reproduction and based on pigmentation and the thallus organization and reserve food material present in the algae. So there are 11 classes as provided in the book Reproduction and Structure of Algae by F.E. Fritsch. So let's start one by one all the 11 classes. So first let's start with the Chlorophyceae, class 1. So Chlorophyceae is also called as, commonly it is also called as green algae, and the main pigment present in the Chlorophyceae is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. And reserve food material is in the form of starch. And when we talk about reproduction, so mainly reproduction takes place by sexual, and that is through isogamous and anisogamous type. And when we talk about the example of chlorophycine, that is Chlamydomonas and volvox are the good example of chlorophycine. So here we have come to know that chlorophyce, the pigment main present in chlorophyce is chlorophyll A and B, and starch is the reserve food material present in the chlorophyce class 1, and reproduction takes place through sexual, that is isogamous and anisogamous type. And when we talk about the example of chlorophyce, that is Chlamydomonas aedes and volvox is the good example of chlorophyce. Moving further to the next class, that is xanthophyce. It is also commonly called as yellow green algae. So xanthophyce is also commonly called as yellow green algae, and main pigment present in xanthophyce is xanthophyll, chlorophyll A and C and carotenoids. So chlorophyll A, C, carotenoids and xanthophylls are the main pigments present in the xanthophyce class, that is class 2, and oil is the reserve food material present in the xanthophyce. And the reproduction, when we talk about reproduction, so commonly reproduction occurs through sexual, that is isogamous type. And when we talk about the example of xanthophyce, so plumularia and wucheria are the one of the best example of xanthophyce class. So if we complete the class 1 and class 2, that is class 1 is commonly called as green algae, that is chlorophyce, and class 2 xanthophyce, that is yellow green algae. Moving further, class 3, when we talk about class 3 chrysophyce, it is commonly called as golden brown algae. So the main pigment present in golden brown algae, that is chrysophyce, are chlorophyll A, C and carotenoids, that is fucoxanthin. Okay, so the pigments present in the cryophyce are chlorophyll A, C and carotenoids and fucoxanthin. And जब हम बात करते हैं reserve food, so when we talk about the reserve food, oil is the reserve food material present in the class chrysophyce. And reproduction, when we talk about reproduction, sexual reproduction takes place in the class chrysophyce. And talk about example, so chrysococcus is the one of the good example of class 3, that is chrysophyce, golden brown algae. So यहाँ पर हमने कंप्लीट कर दिया 3 classes, that is chlorophyce, xanthophyce and chrysophyce. Okay, moving further, when we talk about class 4 basilaryophyce, so it is commonly called as yellow green algae or brown algae. Okay, so the pigment present in basilaryophyce are chlorophyll A and C and fucoxanthin are the main pigments present in the class 4, that is basilaryophyce. Okay, when we talk about reserve food material, oil is the reserve food material present in the basilaryophyce. And when we talk about reproduction, so sexual reproduction takes place, that is isogamous type of reproduction takes place in the class 4, that is basilaryophyce. And when we talk about example of basilaryophyce, so Pinularia is one of the example of basilaryophyce, that is yellow green or brown algae. Okay, here we have completed the class 4, that is basilaryophyce. When we moving further towards the class 5 cryptophyce, it is commonly called as green algae, or cryptomonas is one of the example of cryptophyce. When we talk about the pigments, main pigment present in the cryptophyce, that is chlorophyll A and C and beta carotene are the pigments present in the cryptophyce. And when we talk about the reserve food material, starch and oil are the reserve food material present in the cryptophyce, that is class 5. And when we talk about the reproduction, here where sexual reproduction, usually sexual reproduction takes place in the cryptophyce, but in rare rare species, isogamous is also one of the rare isogamous is also seen in the cryptophyce class. So when we talk about example, as I told previous, cryptomonas is the one of the good example of cryptophyce class. So here we have completed the class 1 chlorophyce and class 2 xanthophyce, class 3 cryophyce, class 4 basilaryophyce, class 5 cryptophyce. When we talk about class 6 dinophyce, that is also called as yellow brown algae, here the main pigment present in dinophyce are chlorophyll A and C. And when we talk about reserve food material, oil and starch are the reserve food material present in the class 6, that is dinophyce. And when we talk about reproduction, so mainly reproduction takes place here by both, that is asexual and as well as sexual. So यहाँ पर जो है sexual and asexual दोनों भी reproduction हो रहा है, किसमें? Class 6, that is dinophyce. When we talk about the example of dinophyce, so peridinium is one of the good example of class 6, that is dinophyce. Peridinium is one of the algae found in the class, that is dinophyce. So यहाँ पर हमने complete कर दिया 6 classes. तो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं, हमारे नेक्स्ट बचे हुए 5 एग्जाम्पल के बारे में भी जानेंगे। We have completed 6 classes of algae. So moving further to 7th class, that is chloromonadiae. So it is commonly called as bright green algae or olive green algae. When we talk about the pigments present in the chloromonadiae, that is chlorophyll A and B and xanthophyll are the main pigments present in the chloromonadiae. When we talk about the reserve food material present in the chloromonadiae, that is fat and oil are the main reserve food material present in the class 7, that is chloromonadiae. And when we talk about the reproduction, here longitudinal division takes place as a through the longitudinal division the reproduction takes place. And one of the good example or best example of chloromonadiae is Tetonia. Tetonia is one of the good example of chloromonadiae. And here we have completed the class 7th. Moving further towards the class 8, that is Eugleniae. That is, it is also commonly called as euglenioids. The main pigments present in euglenioids are the chlorophyll A, B and beta carotene. So pigment present in euglenioids are chlorophyll A, B and beta carotene, and the reserve food materials are oil and carbohydrates. So oil and carbohydrates are the main reserve food material present in euglenioids. And here through the longitudinal cell division, the reproduction takes place. So reproduction takes place through the longitudinal cell division. But whereas in chloromonadiae, only longitudinal division takes place. Here in the euglenioids, longitudinal cell division takes place for reproduction. And when we talk about the example, the name itself indicates euglenioids, Eugleneae. That is, Euglenia is one of the good example of algae found in the class euglenioids. And here we have completed class 8, and moving further the class 9, that is Phyophyceae. It is commonly called as brown algae. So the main pigments present in brown algae are chlorophyll A, C and beta carotene and fucoxanthin. Here the fucoxanthin, chlorophyll A and B and beta carotene A and C and beta carotene are the main pigments present in the brown algae, that is Phyophyceae. And the reserve food material present in the Phyophyceae are mannitol and laminarium and fat. So here the laminarium, fat and mannitol are the reserve food material present in the Phyophyceae. And when we talk about reproduction, here both sexual as well as asexual reproduction takes place in the Phyophyceae. And when we talk about the reproduction, here when we talk about the example of the Phyophyceae, that is Ectocarpus is one of the example of the algae present in class Phyophyceae, that is brown algae. So here we have completed the 9th class, and moving further to the 10th class, that is Rhodophyceae. Rhodophyceae, the name itself indicates the red algae. So it is commonly called as red algae. When we talk about the main pigment present in the Rhodophyceae, that is red algae, that is chlorophyll A and D and phycocyanin and beta carotene are the pigments present in the Rhodophyceae class. And when we talk about reserve food material, Floridian starch. Here not only single starch, Floridian starch is present as a reserve food material in the class Rhodophyceae, that is red algae. And okay, here when we talk about the reproduction, so mainly reproduction occurs through sexual. So in Rhodophyceae, the reproduction takes place through the sexual. And when we talk about the example of Rhodophyceae, that is red algae, Polysiphonia is one of the good or better example of algae that is found in class Rhodophyceae, that is Polysiphonia. Here we have completed the class 10. When we talk about class 11, that is Cyanophyceae, or else it is also called as Mixophyceae, that is it is commonly called as that is blue-green algae. It is commonly called as blue-green algae. So and it is also called as cyanobacteria. When we talk about blue-green algae, here this is always seen in nitrogen fixation. So whenever nitrogen fixation takes place, when we talk about nitrogen fixation, the cyanobacteria is algae that is used for nitrogen fixation. So when we talk about the pigments present in the Cyanophyceae or Mixophyceae class, it is chlorophyll A and C and phycocyanin, phycoerythrin are the pigments present in the Cyanophyceae or Mixophyceae class. That is class 11, Cyanophyceae or Mixophyceae. Chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, phycoerythrin and phycocyanin are the main pigments present in the class Cyanophyceae. And when we talk about the reserve food, here glucogen. So Glycogen is the main reserve food material present in the glass cyanophyce. And when we talk about the reproduction mainly occurs to sexual reproduction takes place in the cyanophyce. When we talk about the example of cyanophyce, nostoc is one of the good example of the class cyanophyce. So here we have completed the 11 classes of algae. So in this video we have studied the classification of algae that was proposed or given by Fritsch, F.E. Fritsch. So he had given the classified the algae on the basis of the reserve food material, the pigment, mode of nature of pigment, and mode of nutrition, and thallus structure, and as well as the mode of reproduction and the variation in life cycle. So on the basis of these he had classified the algae into 11 classes. So 11 classes आज के इस वीडियो में हमने कंप्लीट कर दिया है. सो हमारे नेक्स्ट वीडियो में हम क्या स्टार्ट करने वाले हैं, इकोनॉमिक इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ algae. सो स्टूडेंट्स, आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा तो प्लीज लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब माय यूट्यूब चैनल एंड स्टे ट्यून्ड विद द बॉटनी विद रोहित जिरोबे. थैंक यू.